We give our opinions, and it's, listen, you're a lot more qualified than us. I think we go off our experience, say it's me and Gary here, of goalkeepers we've worked with and speaking to them. So it's not we just throw some opinion out, we try and back it up with something, as I said, the keepers we've played with. But I just want to go back to some of the analysis we've done on this show and whether we were actually right or wrong. And this is something I did very early. And this was on a Steven Gerrard goal against Tim Howard in a Merseyside derby. And it was about bouncing, basically. And you just see it better from the second angle. So, I mean, I was at the game. I remember the goal going in. And, you know, sometimes when you just see a goal go in and you think, it doesn't look right. You're not quite sure what's happened. But I've been at the game thinking, that shouldn't have gone in. Or certainly in the middle of the goal. And I just want to, I'll just slow it down. So I was just looking at Tim Howard. And I was talking about him bouncing. And as Gerrard sort of made contact now, where Tim Howard's feet are, that was my analysis at the time. Was it right? Was it wrong? Have I got something wrong? I mean, Gerrard's about to strike and he's actually in the air now.
It's a really tough habit to break. But, and we've talked about the time, buying yourself time to react. And you're cutting down on your time if you're in the air. You can react in the air and think, oh, the ball's going that way. But you can't do anything about it. I think it's Skirtle there has done a good job because he wants to see the ball. You desperately want to see a ball off a free kick, so rather than go down low.
Is that why in some ways he's bouncing to try and see the ball?
From looking at that, I think he's trying to see over the top of Skirtle. I think it is over the top of the wall to see the ball, to get a view of the ball. What it does do is it cuts down on his time and the ability to react across the goal.
Is the bouncing fine? He's just bounced too high. Is he actually got to be on his toes? Can you not be flat-footed and just have your feet on the floor?
I think the best one I ever saw was Julio Cesar, who was fantastic. And Alisson is as close, another Brazilian goalkeeper, to have seen, to having none. To having no, and they just stood there and said, OK, I'm going to trust myself. And everybody would turn around and say, he's got the quickest reactions. He's like a cat. And it's not, his just feet were always on the floor and he was always ready to make a save. That made him quicker and made him better. And from that, you're looking at Tim Howard here, and it's a habit thing, it's a nervous thing, but it does create a problem in that you look now when he's landed and his pressure and he's pushing through his legs.
So he's landed now, the ball's is already over the wall.
He's lost 10 yards of reaction time. And he's down to, what, 14 yards? So rather than it being a 24-yard free kick and shot, it's a 14-yard free kick and shot. And the amount of time you can get, or the amount of movement you can get across the goal and the distance you cover isn't as much as it would be if it was from 24 yards. So it's sometimes...
So when you said about the goalkeepers, Cesar and Alisson, sort of not bouncing, so there's not a right or a wrong, it's just that they got so much strength in their legs that they can get up from a standing position. Why would a keeper bounce then?
It's a habit. It's something that you move around, and you watch it in cricket, that players do it when they're in their slips, that they'll stand there and go, right, and they'll leap into position, and you'll do that. And the beauty of playing in the cricket slips is that you stand there and at tennis is the same. They leap into being, into returning a serve. And the beauty is that you know when the ball is arriving, you know when the ball's going to come off the bat, you know when the ball's going to come off the racket, so you can time it perfect. In football, it's moving all the time, it's changing all the time. There, Tim Howard can't see it. So he's in midair, Skirtle gets out of the way, and he's in midair and goes, oh no, I've cut down on my time. So, yeah, I think if you can, the best way to do it is to have none. But then that becomes, do you become then flat-footed? Do you get your studs get stuck in the ground? That's a tricky one.
Sounds like you were right. The question is, was Gary Neville? Because in the same game there was a stunning equaliser, and this was Gary's verdict to the goalkeeping on that.
There's a risk here with this. One, that my pants split. Two, that I fall on my backside. But
Neville, the goalkeeper.
He's almost 90 degrees, and his hands are so low down here, and he should be there. The ball's from 25 yards, but it's almost as if he's down there thinking it's going to be a shot on a one-on-one.
But is that not because he's so tall, he's covering if it's down low?
I think if your hands are down here, you then got that movement to make, and you talk about a strike that's coming in quickly, the way these balls travel now. He's got to get up, he's got to move his hands up, and then he's got to go there, rather than being almost just slightly shoulders forward, go in there, ready to move.
Gary, the goalkeeping coach. Was he right?
Let's have a look. Let's run the goal first. Remind it. Listen, it was one of the best goals you'll ever see in a Merseyside derby. I think we were all felt it was maybe a little bit harsh on Mignolet, but look at this angle. Rob, go on, you talk us through it.
It's sometimes you just got to take your hat off. It's an incredible strike from Jags, and it's a wonderful one, a wonderful strike. I'm not saying Gary Neville's right.
What about the low hands?
I'm saying